Alrighty, we are back with another episode of Motorsport Minute. I am your host, Mitchell Bettenhausen, and today our guest is Thomas Fries. I call Thomas the mini truck master. He has a pretty sweet little ride we're going to learn about today. Thomas, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
So, like you said, my name's Thomas Fries. Reside in New Salem, North Dakota. Live on a farm and ranch. Keeping on the motorsports trip, I do work on a lot of shitty equipment and vehicles, so I know my way around a wrench, a screwdriver, and a roll of duct tape. So, coming back to Mitchell's question on the mini truck, so I got a 2004 Suzuki Carry, 4-wheel drive, 5-speed, high-low transfer case, the real deal. So, I purchased this truck, and I'm sure you'll see an intro video on it or so. Purchased it from a neighbor. Engine was shot. So, took it to my place. Obviously, tried to get it from him for a reasonable price, which I did. Learned my skills around screwing someone over from Mitchell. So, got the best on that one. Just kidding. But, yeah. Found a motor for it. Funny thing is, uses the same motor as a Articat snowmobile engine from that era. Found one in Bismarck locally for $250. Swapped that one in. Had to change a couple things. The major things were oil pan and oil sump pickup tube. So it was honestly fairly easy. Had that motor swapped out in less than a day with no knowledge of it whatsoever. So that one lasted, not sure if it lasted a year. The wife overheated that motor because the coolant fan was burned out, which I didn't know, which I'm guessing happened to the first motor as well. So moving on. Comes January of this year, 2022. It wouldn't start worth a shit during the winter time. So I knew it was time to pull it into the shop. Doing some reading, looking through some archives and some forums. Like I said, uses that same motor from the same era, Articat snowmobile 4-stroke, so you can get they had a turbo motor of that year. So, looked into it, found one in Bemidji. We were out in Minnesota for Christmas, so it just kind of all worked out. Not saying that we went to Christmas in Minnesota to pick up that motor, but that was a good reason to go out there. So, picked that up, brought her back home, quit my job for 3 weeks in March, got that motor swapped in. Honestly, I was switching jobs at the time, but quitting work sounds cooler.
That's a good excuse. Very good excuse.
So, yeah, it took some fabrication. I wasn't the first one to do it. Obviously, the turbo had to be remounted under the bed of the truck. Couldn't be mounted straight off the exhaust manifold because the 4-wheel drive shaft was in the way. So that took some fabrication. There was some intake work, the intercooler. There was quite a bit of wiring that had to be manufactured. And I owe a lot of credit to those that have done it before. There was 2 other people in the United States that had done it. And there's probably maybe 1 or 2 more. But there's a guy in Canada as well. But total I can think of is 5, including mine, that this whole swap had been done. So through my work and through knowledge that they had already had, got her swapped over, ran into some issues. At first startup, it wouldn't stay running, and that turned out to be I didn't have the cam sensor wires swapped over. I had to use both wiring harnesses, the one from the mini truck and the one from the snowmobile. The one from the snowmobile would run all the engine sensors, injectors, stuff like that. The one from the mini truck still runs the coolant fan, which unfortunately I'm still not sure if that one's working now. So that's to be determined. We could be revisiting this back a year from now.
Right. We'll have to have the third engine swap. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. What brought you? I mean, what made you even think about this? Just YouTube and stuff?
Yeah, YouTube, and there's a pretty awesome mini truck page on Facebook. So there's a lot of great ideas on there. And you know, when you take something that weighs 1,500 pounds and of its size and as awesome as it is, making it 110, 120 horse as opposed to 25 horse with someone pushing behind it, it's kind of a big deal. So
yeah, I mean, as everyone, whoever's listening, not able to watch the YouTube version, we will have a little clip of him. He did some burnouts for us. I'll have some pictures posted as well of kind of the swap. As he said, you know, there's only a few out there, so that's kind of neat. That's why I wanted to get Tom on. You know, he is kind of a gearhead himself, just like all of us. Kind of meshes with the motorsport scene, and you know, 1 of 5, even if there's 10 of them out there that are done, you know, that's a pretty small sample size, so it's pretty sweet. Glad to say I had one do a pretty gnarly burnout in my shop.
And I'm glad to say I left some tire tread on there.
Yeah,
I need to borrow some tires on the way home. But
yeah, we'll have to. So most of our audience is Derby people, so we'll have to see if they can maybe sponsor some or gift us some donuts for you to get home.
Much appreciated.
Yeah. So other than that, I mean, Tom's built this truck, pretty sweet. Does a lot of other things, you know. I don't know, between ramping his razor, filling the bed of this full of hay, and he's a pretty big sheep guy. If you want to tell us a little bit about your sheep life.
Yeah, so my wife and I, we run a commercial herd of sheep, specializing in market lamb animals, specifically for the show world. So we travel the countryside, working with junior showmen with their 4-H and junior livestock projects, and that's mostly her ideas. I'm there to support her and help her out whenever needed, but she is definitely the brains behind it, and I am definitely the brawn. So I'm definitely willing to acknowledge that.
Hey, you got to support their dreams. Everyone's got one.
Yep, everyone's got their dreams, and you're a better person helping that other one succeed in theirs as well.
Right. Yeah, I mean, your dream's sitting right out back.
Exactly. Like I said, I like working on junk, and it just seems to happen to find me all the time. So
didn't just recently you bought a new side-by-side, and wasn't there was it new, close to new?
Yeah, so, yeah, that's a great story. I tried to forget about that one. So, this is a story I could tell you for hours, but we'll make it short and sweet. So, whatever, looking at a side-by-side for a while, the wife and I, always looking for ideas to get out and, you know, explore the world, and I usually like to keep it in something that interests me more than her, selfishly, but she don't need to know that. Hopefully she don't watch this. But yeah, so I found this side-by-side out in Miles City, 2021 Yamaha R-Max. Pretty much like a Polaris General type of deal, sporty and also usable on the farm. Had 300 miles on it. Brought it home. Got 40 miles on her, and the engine started making a noise. So, just my luck. Knew it was going to happen the whole time. Had a good feeling about it. So, lift the bed up. Notice there's a bolt missing out of the valve cover. So, I'm like, and the hole didn't line up. So, I took a screwdriver to see if it jiggled or not. It didn't. So, pulled the valve cover off. Looked underneath there, and one of the camshaft hold downs was snapped, broke, cracked. So I was like, this is fucking awesome. So And then there's 4 bolts that held that hold down. So whatever, tighten them up a little bit. Maybe, at least it won't make as much noise anymore, and I might be able to move it from point A to point B. So did that. Didn't drive it. Called the dealership. The nice thing about this dealership, they're open on Saturdays and Sundays. So called them on Saturday. Talked to him about it. That salesman wasn't there that day. Referred me to the mechanic to see if he knew anything about it. And sure enough, the mechanic instantly knew exactly what I was talking about. He said, "Yeah, is that white one?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Yeah, that one was just in here for a full engine rebuild. I mean, this is a new machine. Yamaha had just come out with it in like the fall of 2020. So, yeah," he was like, "Yeah, I knew all about it. Rebuilt the motor on that one. Yamaha never had any motors, so they couldn't ship us a new motor. So we ended up rebuilding it." I'm like, well, that's fucking awesome. Nobody told me that from the get-go. That's what you get for doing business on Sundays, I guess, because that's when I picked it up. So he was like, "Yeah, bring it back. We'll rebuild it." Or then I went back to a salesman, and he said, "Yeah, we'll give you your money back." So that put a pretty sour taste in my mouth, and I took it back, or Jamie took it back, my wife. So, yeah, we left that one there, got our money back, thankfully. Good dealership. They could have straight up said, "Fuck you."
Right.
And it's your problem.
They could have definitely put it to you. Yeah. I mean, most definitely could have. So
yeah, I'm good at getting bent over, so I was prepared for it.
Yeah. Oh, that's tough. But it's I don't know. Did they ever come with a conclusion of like why, who, or just said is what it is? That's what happened, or
I don't know if I got a lemon. He reassured me the person that rebuilt that motor would not forget to torque those bolts. So I mean, the person that had it before, put 300 miles on it, because I bought it with like 309.
Right.
So
like basically new.
Yeah, basically brand new. And that guy still had it under warranty, and he said, "Oh, the one thing the salesman did tell me, which never trust a salesman, said, yeah, the guy had it for a few hundred miles, and it wasn't for his needs, so he got a Ranger." Well, he could have bought a boat for all I know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough situation. But then again, they did kind of give you your money back, so
yeah, besides they didn't give me the $4 diesel to go out there twice, so
right.
But
well, at least it wasn't $5.50 like it is now.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Always look at the brighter things in life.
Gotta love inflation. Yeah, well, that's what we're living with, and we got another couple of years of it, so makes everything we do, more costly. Between these, as I was telling him, we're heading out of state in a couple weeks to do a few podcasts with a few people. Just the added cost to everything. Like Tom said, you guys go all over the place. Every time I text you, you're in Oklahoma or Texas or Nebraska or kind of all over. So, I mean, is the fuel restrict you guys from doing the sheep shows, or?
I mean, definitely. I'm kind of more so the money manager than the wife, so I would like it to restrict us a little more, but we're also in the building stage, so trying to get our name out there, trying to get our genetics out there to all over the country pretty much. And yeah, we haven't really made it a restriction yet, and we really can't at this point. It's one of those things we'll probably have to make up for it somewhere else. So, whether that be can't buy a 30 rack of Bush this week, or, can't go hammer down on some McDonald's when you got the munchies or something like that. So you got to save in different categories and make up for it.
Right. Yeah, the few people I've talked to prior to you, they basically said the same thing, and maybe can't do everything they used to, but they can still do most of it as long as they manage manage the money, manage the financials, which is true, but it's still, I mean, it's a lot more stressful. You know, instead of going to the bar until 1 a.m., you might have to quit at 11:30.
Yep.
Which always should anyways.
Exactly, and I think one of the last times I went to the bar was with you, and I ended up sleeping in the back of your van in your shop. So I think that's a good note to end it on there for my bar experience for 2022 anyways.
Yeah, well, we don't drink. So.
Yeah, this is any Budweiser new thing. Ever heard of it?
Yeah.
Me either.
So any projects coming down the pipeline? Any new fabs that you got to work on? Or
nothing huge. Like that motor swap was probably one of the most uncomfortable things I did, and I would prefer not to do something like that again.
It's pretty cool you hopped into it, though, without knowledge of doing it. I mean, like I said earlier, I'll show some pictures. I mean, you had to do quite a bit of fabrication. I mean, other than it kind of bolting in, you fabbed everything, so...
Yeah, I mean, bolting the motor to the transmission, that was easy. That's 6 bolts, and you can drop the motor out of that in a half hour, unplug everything, and it's out the bottom. But, I mean, there's still those little things you run into, and those people you relied on to help you may not always be available, or they end up telling you, figure it out, because, I mean, they had to do the same. But for the most part, it was pretty good. But yeah, like I told you, I had 50 to 100 hours of work into it because I had 3 weeks off work and in between jobs, and I not sure if I got it all done in that time frame. So, and that was during lambing and calving and all that. So then you got them interruptions. So
right. Yeah, I don't remember when I officially seen it, but I feel like it took you longer than that 3 weeks. I think you had it running, but not like tip-top condition yet.
Yep. Yeah, when we rode around in it, I didn't even have the box on it yet, so it's still in the testing stage.
The first ride I got in this truck had no box, so it was probably like 300 pounds lighter yet. It, to say the least, that thing scoots.
Yeah, so I'm sure there's people out there wondering what there is for a top speed because, he said he got it from 25 horse to 110 horse. Well, I have had it up to 90 miles per hour. The speedometer is in kilometers per hour. That pegs out at 120 kilometers per hour. But yeah, you throw the old phone on the dash and you're going 90 and honestly handles it great.
Yeah, so it's narrow, so you would think it would be kind of squirrely, but because it's 13-inch tires.
Stock, they have 12s on it with some cookie cutters, but I did find some 13s off of some old shitty Toyota or something. Right. So now it's got 13s, and honestly, I wanted to say it handled a lot better with those 12s on it. With these little wider tires, it's a little more sketchy on loose gravel. Yeah. But
right.
I don't know. She'll be getting some tire upgrades, so then she'll have some mud diggers on it. So.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have the power. Next thing you'll be doing is tearing out the rear end.
Yeah, exactly. And I already know the clutch is going to go because when I had it ripped apart this last time, she was pretty dry. I mean, it's a dry clutch, but the throwout bearing was pretty dry. So. You know what you do when you want to get shit together. You throw a little grease in there, try as much as you can.
Right. Just do it the easy way.
Yeah. Do it the easy way, not the right way.
Yeah. That's, So I don't know. You probably never looked at it yet, but I got a car out there. I pulled back into my shop. I'd like to finish this winter. I worked on it in high school, and, for most of it, I did a pretty decent job, but the other stuff, it's like, I can tell I was just trying to get it running, and I was 17 years old. Holy cow, like, no fan on the engine. I don't know what I was thinking. Let's just drive it. I don't know. Let's burn her up the first road trip.
Well, I think that's how you do it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I don't know. The guy does some weird things in a rush, and then they always end up breaking and wonder why. But
that's life.
But that's... as everyone that probably watches knows, most of us work on junk. Most of us are blue-collar people that can't afford new stuff. So.
Yep. Yeah, I own a Ford, so like you said, what's my next project? Well, I gotta replace an exhaust manifold on that, and that doesn't sound like a very fun project. So when those manifold bolts strip out, then I'll be bringing them to Mitchell Bettenhausen's Garage Inc. So
yeah, I suppose we could do some sort of fab over here. I know I seen something today or yesterday. Someone was trying to push bushings out of a leaf spring, but they were using a punch and a sledgehammer and just a foot on the leaf. I thought, oh my gosh. I mean, I've done stupid things like that, but we bought a press now, and it's like, I don't know how I ever did anything like that.
I didn't think I videoed that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It takes time to get stuff, though, even in the shop. I mean, slowly buying tools, I can't afford to buy them all right away, but I don't know. It's even a press was a game changer, but we built a lot of corral panels with it, so that was the main need. Now I push bearings and all the car stuff with it too. So
well, yeah, farm. Write that off. Schedule F, baby.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Good thing it was like a family thing. So it actually was Greg's dad's uncles or something like that. So didn't have to buy it. It was Greg's. We just brought it from the Quonset over here once we finally had a nice place to work.
Yeah, I seen it. It's a hell of a press. You guys should see it. It's something else.
Not bad. Not bad. Yeah. So got to go home, back to the wife tonight. Said she's getting groceries.
Yeah. She said she wanted to go over some financials, but
well, you're a loan officer, so you just got money coming out. Whenever you need it, you just write your name, right?
Yeah. It's more so the going out than the coming in thing. That's where the issue arises.
Oh, yeah, you are supposed to pay it back, I think.
That's what they say. I can't share any secrets on this channel, though. So
Right. You can't do the embezzlement on here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few news articles on other people if you want to check that out.
Yeah, well, probably not a good topic to get on.
Yeah.
But yeah, loan officer. So anyone watching need to buy a new vehicle or can't afford anything else, he'll help you out. He helps people out every day. Poor people like me.
Yeah, well, some people rely on it. That's the way of life. So
no, it is. Yeah, not everyone can afford everything. Not no one, but everyone I know can't.
Yep.
Have to do it the American way, the American dream, right? Buy a house, do a lot of other things, get in debt, and just keep on living.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, you and I both farm and ranch, and, you can't, obviously you need a operating loan if you're at some sort of scale and can't cash flow all that. So, I mean, when your income comes in one time a year, and your expenses are throughout the whole year. So,
right.
I mean, it's easy for some of those financial advisors or individuals to say, debt free and blah, blah, don't need any loans, but
right.
That's some people do.
Yeah, and got to get a loan so I can afford my hobbies with my other cash.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, back, I don't know, when we first moved into our house on the farm, we had some friends tell us, I don't know why you guys complain about bills. You're just on the farm. Can't you write everything off? Doesn't that pay for itself? They're like, we got way more bills, and they lived in an apartment and maybe had like one vehicle. It's like, boy, if you guys only knew.
Oh, yeah. Especially when you're starting from the bottom or starting from scratch. Thankfully, I'm sure both of us have had family that's helped us out. Otherwise, we'd be in a bigger stronghold. But
I wouldn't be able to do the podcast. I'd still be out doing field work.
Wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah, that's for sure. No, I can't. You can't anymore start without help.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know how you could, especially in like the farming world, or if you had to do that, you wouldn't even have time or the money to do your mini truck or things like that. It's just the world is going in an unaffordable direction.
When you're depending on something that's so volatile, it's not so easy. That's why we continue to work day jobs. So
right, I got to work a day job and come home and work another job and then do this and a lot of other things, and still broke by week 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh well, right.
That's the way she goes. That's the American dream.
Yeah, we're living it. Yeah. Living it right now.
I think that term is kind of phasing out from what I've heard, because there isn't much of one anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of dream we got, but we got to dream about something.
I'm dreaming about you giving me 2 gallons of gas to get home. I know that.
Boy, that could be a stretch. I might have used it all in the pressure washer. Yeah, we can maybe spare you a couple gallons, I suppose.
No, I'll just call AAA.
Yeah.
Get my money's worth.
Maybe if we had some more people subscribe, we could afford to buy them some gas. So everyone watching, this is your chance. Go hit the button down in the corner and subscribe so Tom can get home tonight.
Need some gas.
Yeah, he needs some more of the diesel fuel, and he needs some premium for the mini truck.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's next. Nothing's next. Just farm away, sheep away.
Yep. We'll be lambing here probably around Christmas time. Not only work on shitty vehicles and that, but also work on building projects. And
yeah, I see you're adding on to the barn again.
Yep. So doing that, insulating, heating, pretty much a general contractor as well, but I'm far from licensed, if that's what it takes to be qualified.
Right. Yeah. So Tom and I call each other quite often, sharing ideas on building projects, and even on when he was working on this, I think he called a couple times on just odds and ends. But it's even building this, or when you built your barn, I know a lot of times we call, what would you do? What do you think would look better? And I ain't no builder, but I feel like I did a lot better job than a lot of people would have done. Maybe it's because it's my own, took a little more pride. I don't know. But boy, I don't know. Any more people just start throwing things up and charging a lot for it.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, that's just not the cost of to have someone else do the labor for you nowadays. But for what you get out of it, more often than not, I've heard people more disappointed than they are thrilled, I guess, for their ending project.
Well, and since the market is so hot, there's so many people out there just trying to start a small business. Commend them 100%. We're, me and my business partner with Timeless, we're trying to do it, trying to build up our clientele and all that. But there's some people that should just maybe, if it's not working, just maybe try something else. We've had a few contractors do some work, and it got done, but in a rough way. I mean, in my opinion, rough. I'm not the overall pickiest person, but it was tough.
And I'm a lot softer bitch than you, so I'm scared of confrontation when it comes to a correction that needs to be made. So there's a downfall.
You should have called me.
Yeah,
I could have took care of it.
Well, I told you forever you should be a project manager.
Yeah, maybe that's my next venture. Go be a project manager.
Yep, calling it Timeless Managements.
Yeah, property managements.
Yeah, and construction managements.
Yeah. So if anyone listening needs a construction manager, I guess give me a call. I'll hook you up.
And if anybody needs a construction loan, give me a call.
There we go. Yeah, see, we can make this work.
Yeah.
Gosh, maybe I do got to do something like that. I don't know. That probably wouldn't pay the bills either. I've got too many hobbies.
They're all self-inflicted.
Yeah. The wife reminds me constantly. I think I complained about doing, I don't know what it was the other night. Something with my cars, or I don't know what it was. Yeah, I got the dirty look, and you got way too many hobbies the way it is. I don't know what I was probably gonna start doing something else. Who knows? I was gonna quit derbying, and then I kept doing that. But I wanted to do the mud running. So let's buy a mud pickup and quit derbying. Well, now I do both of those. So I might as well add something else to the plate. Might as well start racing motocross again. I don't know. Just break a leg.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, are those headphones noise canceling? Maybe keep them on walking around the house. Won't have to listen to her shit. So
right? I think I got some noise canceling ones around here. Can toss them in. I'm sure she would appreciate it. Maybe when I go to bed tonight, that's what I'll do. Cool. Well, that's what we got. Pretty short pod today. But it was a good one. A lot of laughs. Tom's always a fun guy to visit with. Great guy. Gearhead, just like all of us. And likes to fabricate stuff just like all of us. Not many people can buy new parts. And like I said, we'll show you some pictures on how we get it done. Thanks, everyone. Like I said, hit that subscribe button.